Hello everyone, we are Mogu Xiali, Ferretti and Soli. Today we would like to share our honest thought about Albania after living 1 month here.
So starting off with some preconceptions about Albania. When we travel, we try not to have any preconceptions about a place. And actually, we were pretty excited about traveling to Albania because we'd just spent 1 month in Schengen countries, which were quite expensive, and they were the sort of places where people have traveled to a lot. So we were excited about going somewhere completely new and different. We realized that not a lot of people, in fact, nobody that I knew had ever been to Albania before. So when I told some friends and family that we were planning on going to Albania, we had some mixed reactions. Some people thinking that it sounded a little bit dodgy, people looked a little bit scary.
Yeah.
But once we started talking to them,
They're actually really friendly and nice, but they just don't like to smile, that's it.
so where we've been in Albania, we went to 5 different places. We started off in Berat, then we went to Tirana, Shkodër, Theth, and a place called Krujë. So we didn't actually manage to get to all of the places we'd have liked to have been, especially in the south. The coastal region is really popular. It's quite touristy, and lots of people travel there. So unfortunately, we didn't manage to make it there this time.
The south of Albania is actually getting more and more popular because it's much cheaper compared with like Italy, and they also have really nice beach there, so a lot of people do recommend to visit there.
The first place we went to was Berat, and I'm pretty confident in saying that that was our favourite place to go. We loved the architecture, was one big thing. That's the first thing that we noticed. Lots of Ottoman influence, and the city is in a valley, so the buildings are going up the side of the hill. Really beautiful to see.
In fact, there's a saying about Berat is it's a city of 1,000 windows. When we see the whole town on the top of the mountain, we realize that there's so many windows that pop up in the buildings. It's like the most special thing of this town.
You get all this Ottoman architecture there, and you can sense that the whole place is a blend of different cultures. That's with the people as well. There's quite a big Muslim population there, which I wasn't actually that aware of before we went.
I think we were quite surprised about how harmony it is in Berat about Christian and Muslim. The mosque and the church are next to each other in the street, and we cannot recognize if people are Muslim or Christian.
It seems like people in the city are quite proud of that as well, aren't they?
Yeah, people are super proud of that. People are very calm, very peaceful. I guess it will be the most peaceful town we ever visit in Albania.
I think you might be right there, yeah. In fact, something that I really loved about it, and this is something that applies to all of Albania, in Albanian culture, they have something called, I might be butchering this, but they call it Giro. And that's where people in the evenings go out for an evening walk. So pretty much all the cities, including Berat, have a pedestrianised area in the centre that gets really busy around 7 p.m, around this time. So on our second day in Berat, we went up to the castle area, which is on top of the mountain. So it was a big climb for us without a car getting up there, but it was totally worth it. It's been really well kept. There's clearly been a lot of investment going on in there, and people still live in the castle town. So it's not like a castle ruin. It's still a place that's alive today. Shops, restaurants, and all kinds of people there. You get some really beautiful views of the whole city, so I definitely recommend that to people. Next stop was Tirana, and this is where we went from our favourite place to our least favourite place.
I think Tirana, it's a very special city because everyone who we met in Albania, they say Tirana is the least favorite city for them. I do admit Tirana is quite boring. There's not much to see.
Yeah, there's basically nothing to do in the city. Like a place where people work, you know, it doesn't really feel like there's much to do there as a tourist. There was an interesting kind of pyramid building, which I think was built during the communist era. It was kind of cool to see. The museum was quite cool.
The museum is quite famous because the facade of the building has a big communist propaganda painting. That is the think like everyone coming to Tirana would take a photo with. Unfortunately, the museum was under renovation, so we didn't go inside to visit that. But the square there, that's the main city center of Tirana. Every tourist will go there, and there's some mosque there and museum there. It's just like a big square. Honestly, it's not the best square.
So we went to the city which has nothing to do, and there was even one less thing to do in the city with nothing to do. So Tirana, I think it can be skipped for most people. Next, we went to Shkodër for a month. That's when we were working at the guest house, which we'll talk about in a later video. The first trip that we did from Shkodër was to a place called Theth. Now this was a really, really cool place. It's a town up in the mountains. We just did an overnight stay there, but wow, it was a really, really beautiful place. Mountain views, gorgeous scenery, the most crystal clear water I've maybe ever seen.
I have to say Albania is the most underrated country to hiking. Like the nature is extremely stunning because it's under development. So it's not the most convenient to get there. It's quite a long way to go to this mountain.
Yeah, the mountain, especially because a lot of people drive themselves. I think that unless you're a really confident driver, you probably wouldn't want to do that drive. Very narrow, twisting mountain roads. Fortunately, we had a skilled minibus driver to take us up there, so I think that's probably the best way to do it. Okay, so the second trip that we took from the guest house was to a place called Krujë. Now, Krujë is actually closer to Tirana. You could escape that boring city to Krujë for an overnight stay, maybe. This is another mountain city. It's up on the top of the mountain. You can actually see Tirana from the mountain. It's a really, really cool place. Again, it's got a lovely pedestrianized center with an old bazaar, which was really cool, seeing all these like products in this narrow street. Really nice to walk through.
Yeah.
Krujë is a very important historical city for Albanians because it's where the national hero Skanderbeg is from, and he defended this area from the Ottoman Empire during the 15th century. So the city has kind of become a symbol of Albanian independence, strength, and national identity.
Oh, actually, I want to add one thing. I've been observing the strait at nighttime. So Krujë is the last city we've been traveling in Albania. And it is true, during the nighttime, we didn't see many women walking on the street. It's mostly men. Like, I didn't see any Albanian woman walking on the street or sitting on the cafe, but the cafe is always full of Albanian men.
It's a bit of a weird feeling, isn't it? We never really got to the bottom of why, did we? I mean, just like a cultural thing or something like that. But yeah, it did feel a little bit weird sometimes, didn't it? Walking through those bits, just all men sitting outside these bars and restaurants.
I think it happens more in like small town. Being in Shkodër or Tirana, I don't really see that.
So now about Shkodër. So as I said, most of the time we were staying in the guest house, which was actually outside of the center of Shkodër. But whenever we went back into the city, there's not loads of things to do, but it's definitely better than Tirana still, I would say. There was a castle in Shkodër as well that we did go to. It cost 400 lek per person, was it, to get in? To be honest, we were a little bit disappointed. Yeah. Maybe we've got a little bit of our own prejudice where if we need to pay to get into somewhere, it better be worth it. It's something that's quite interesting about the ruined castle sections of Albania, which seems to be all over the country. There's always a ruined church inside, You can always see this religious tie that they have over their long history. So back into the actual city of Shkodër, once again, my favourite bit is just the pedestrianised centre.
Yeah.
Lovely area, nice bars, cafes. Actually, a lot of the buildings are quite colourful, I noticed. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Portugal, those kind of like coloured buildings, like pastel pink and yellow and all these kind of buildings. So on the whole, Shkodër, I would say it's a place that is worth visiting. You don't need to stay here for very long. It probably serves best as a base to travel to other places from, places like Theth and other hiking routes and things like that.
Agree.
Now on to the most important subject, food. There's a lot of lovely restaurants in Albania that will say traditional food on the front of it. So many, every single city will have traditional food, traditional this, traditional that. So what is traditional food in Albania?
Most typical traditional food of Albanian is the grilled meat. They have like grilled chicken, grilled beef, grilled lamb, grilled vegetable. And there's also one dish stand out the most is called moussaka. It's basically like lasagna, like one layer of potato, one layer of aubergine, cheese, sometimes with meat. I think the food here influenced by Greece quite a lot.
These traditional restaurants were usually the cheapest places to go to as well. Very affordable. Most of the time, it depends on where you are, but each dish could just be like a few euros.
Yeah,
basically.
It's like 500 lek.
Yeah, 500 lek I think it was for the moussaka in Berat. In terms of snacks, we really like the bareks, don't we? Especially the spinach flavour is a good one to choose. But I think they're common all over the Balkans, right?
Yeah, it's a Balkan food, but also Ottoman food. When we don't know what to eat, we always go to pizzeria. I guess they're influenced by Italy, and the pizza here is just so good.
Especially one in Shkodër called Fontana. Oh man, I thought it was so nice. The capricosa, €6.50, absolutely delicious. I think that you can get pizza here without feeling too guilty.
Yeah.
Something that we were really surprised about when we arrived was how expensive the supermarkets are. Maybe we just didn't go to the right places, but actually it just seems like it's been a month.
Yeah.
There's definitely no cheap supermarkets here.
Yeah, and especially meat. Because being 1 month here, we do really like to cook some meat, but we notice the meat in supermarket are quite expensive and there's no fresh section. You have to go to a butcher shop, which is only open in the morning, so it's not super convenient to get meat here.
I think another part of why the supermarkets are so expensive is because a lot of them are international supermarkets like Spar. Yeah, there's a place called Conad, which we realized later is owned by Italians and it's mostly Italian products. So it's all of these import taxes and stuff like that.
But anyway, one thing we are surprised about Albania though is gelato. The gelato is the cheapest ever. It's like €1 for one scoop. The quality is same as Italy, which is shocking for us.
And I take back what I said about Tirana, about there's nothing to do. There's one thing to do in Tirana, and that's to go for gelato every day,
Yes.
which is exactly what we did.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, it was so nice. Cost like €1 for a scoop. Oh man, they got so flavoursome. The cones even were like freshly made and delicious.
That's the only thing I miss about Tirana.
So how easy is it to travel in Albania? Albania has what we like to call a relaxed bus system. No signage, no easy way to find out where to get the bus from. Amazingly, it worked.
There's actually no bus station in Albania. Well, there's one in Tirana, but it's an outdoor one. So which means there's no information, there's no staff. So you have to go there and then the driver will talk to you like, where are you going? And then he will try to lead us to the bus that is going to somewhere. In Shkodër, the local people will still say there's a bus station there, but you cannot really find it. It's basically a stray. If you want to take a bus, you just go there, ask the people, and then waiting there for the bus. Traveling inside of the city is kind of harder. In Tirana, the Google map probably will show a little bit, but in Shkodër, you cannot find any information online.
And it turns out like usually the bus stops, it'll just be one sign with a blue bus, but there's no actual information on that sign to say where it's going, which direction or anything like that. There's also no trains in Albania that we're aware of.
We do think Albania is not the most convenient country to travel around. So it happens a few times that we have to hitchhike. A lot of Albanian people will stop and give us a lift. And some of them looks like no smile, looks serious. But when they talk to us, they are actually extremely friendly. And they even say, don't rely on bus in Albania. So they gave us a lift.
Yeah, we're really thankful to those guys. The intercity buses are usually just like a big coach and they're usually pretty comfortable and seem okay. If you're doing some shorter journeys, you'll probably be getting on a little minibus, often with no AC. So in the middle of summer, can get super hot, very, very sweaty. But if you can live with that, then it's a cheap, pretty easy way to travel. So moving on to money. Now, in Albania, cash is still king. You need to use cash. In some cities, in Tirana and in Shkodër, we could use our card a little bit, especially Tirana. Most restaurants and all the supermarkets would accept card. In Shkodër, some restaurants and the supermarkets accept card, but for example, in Berat, we had to use cash everywhere. And certainly when we're going to these small towns, you have to use cash.
Yeah.
The Albanian currency is called Albanian lek, and it's a closed currency. So what that means is you can't actually get the cash from outside the country. You have to be in Albania in order to get it. So you might just think, okay, I'll arrive with my credit card, debit card, and take money out the ATM. But that's not a good idea because ATM fees are very high. They are at least €6 every time, no matter how much money you're taking out. So the best way to get money in Albania is to use the currency exchange shops, which are everywhere. If they have a sign that says no commission, that's a good sign to see, because then that means that they will do pretty much the actual conversion rate and they won't charge you any fee on top of that. So before you arrive in Albania, make sure that you have some cash. I think that euros are the best. Also, if you've got euros, a lot of places, especially restaurants, will still accept euros. They'll just do like a one-to-one rate, but that's not everywhere. Most people when traveling in Albania rent cars. We are not the most experienced drivers, and we heard that people drive a little bit crazy here, which we have discovered to be true. So we didn't go for that. But if you are a confident driver, I think that hiring a car is a good idea, and it's quite affordable.
Yeah. Arrive in Tirana airport, there's so many rental company outside of the airport. A lot of people rent the car there, travel around Albania. Some people even go to Montenegro and then come back to Tirana to return the car. I think it's the best way to travel in Albania. In terms of safety, some people might think Albania is quite dangerous. Actually, staying 1 month here, we felt quite safe traveling in Albania. I've never felt dangerous. I feel it's even safer than being in another Schengen country.
That's very true, actually, yeah. Yeah, we've never had any point in our trip. We've been here a full month, and we've never had any point of feeling in danger. To be honest, I think we had the confidence to hitchhike because of the positive experience that we've had being here and meeting Albanian people.
Exactly. The answer is yes. I think Albania is definitely worth to visit, but you need to be ready for the inconvenience, and you need to be open to talk to people because it's not the most convenient country to travel, but there's actually a lot of things to discover in Albania, and I think it's super special traveling here.
Honestly, I think that it's going to become a more touristy place over the next few years. I can see the tourism industry developing a lot. It seems to be perfectly set up for it. If you're a hiking enthusiast or if you're a crazy driver, I think Albania is the perfect place to go for you to go and visit. Okay, so those were our honest thoughts about Albania.
And if you would like to know more about Walkaway and more detail about traveling in Albania, please follow us. We will share more details.
So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so those are our honest thoughts about Albania. We're now in Montenegro, which I think we'll make another video about in the future. If you want to know what our workaway experience was like, please give us a follow and stay in touch. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.